I think a lot of business owners get very burnt out, and our minds, you can feel it. Like when you take off, you need to choose to do things that actually make you feel good and recharge you.
We're Sahara and Michaela, co-founders of Refine Marketing.
From corporate 9-to-5s to building and scaling multiple million-dollar companies in less than 5 years, we're not afraid to get into the nitty-gritty.
Giving you a raw and real look at what it takes to build and sustain a business.
This is Rise and Refine.
Good morning and happy Monday. Welcome back to the Rise and Refine podcast. We are going to be chatting about something that I don't know about you, but it took me a hot minute to actually learn how to do and do it in a way that didn't derail me from my daily activities or projects or goals that I had set for Refined, but it actually helped me be more productive. And that is scheduling off days and why it is so important to do so as a business owner.
Yeah, I think it's like the scary word or scary couple of words that most business owners don't want to say, like, I'm taking an off day. They feel like that's going to derail their business, or at least that's what I thought for several years. And I like this topic because I wanted us to talk about the positives that come out of actually taking off days that can actually help your business grow and why it's a benefit. Because I think that a lot of people have the perspective that if you take off days, you won't grow as fast. Or, business owners never get off time. And while some days may feel like that, some weeks, I think that maintaining off days can actually benefit your business. So let's dive into like the benefits of actually taking off days. And we can even kind of dive into like how many off days we take, because I classify off days into things. One, like my weekly off days, and then two, actually leaving to go on vacation. Like there's so many business owners we both met and they're like, oh, I haven't had a vacation in years. It's like, go take one, please. Like, go take one. So we wrote out some positive benefits if you actually take off days that we feel like a lot of business owners don't think about. So we can start off with the first one, which is actually the exact reason for this whole topic. When I thought of this one, Michaela, was the very first reason you put on, which it can prevent burnout, because that is like key. I think a lot of business owners get very burnt out, and our minds, you can feel it. Like burnout maybe means different things to different people, but for me, I can feel it. I become more exhausted. I become more inflamed. I stop doing some of my daily routine things like working out, drinking water. Like you can tell when you're approaching burnout. And by taking off days, it can actually prevent burnout because you're allowing your mind to rest and not constantly be on work 24/7. And it can actually create your mind to be less foggy in a sense, because you're avoiding burnout by letting your body rest, which is very, very important.
So yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, this is probably the most significant one that's talked about, preventing burnout. Every entrepreneur, business owner strives to avoid this one, but most of the time they don't associate burnout with off days. Most of the time it's just going for a walk, or maybe it's stepping outside, or maybe it's doing a hobby that you enjoy doing, playing golf, playing tennis, going to pick up a pickleball game or something like that. But it's more so than that. Sometimes you just genuinely need to get away, get out of your office space or wherever you work, and do something for yourself by yourself. I know for me,
something that's not thinking specifically of work too. I think that's important.
Yeah. For me specifically, a lot of times what I will do is I'll go up to my parents in North Carolina. They have a beautiful house up there. I've literally lived in it since I was a child. It's absolutely gorgeous, on acreage. And so I know going up there, it's like a retreat for me. I can just get away, breathe some fresh mountain air, and kind of reset, refocus. And I like to do that just on like every 2 months, go up for a weekend kind of ordeal, just to give myself space and allow myself time to recharge, even if I don't necessarily need it. But most of the time, honestly, every 2 months, I do need it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's a great way for me to get out of my house, because my office is in our basement, get out of my house, spend some quality time with people that mean the world to me, my parents. The dogs are up there. We get outside, like I said, get some air and just do something that I enjoy doing.
Yeah. I think it's so great. The burnout is real. I've talked about this before in podcasts, but I was kind of joking with it when I said it, but I'm actually even more serious about it now. And that's that I think I might go take like a trip by myself, which I have a child. So when I say that, I mean like a one night trip somewhere. I may do that soon because I feel like I don't know the last time I've had alone time when I like my brain can just literally be turned off and I can just truly relax and maybe do something like read a book, not about business that I haven't done in a while. But it's very important to not get burnout, especially as business owners. And this is the number one, and my husband says this too because he's a business owner. We both say having a vacation planned and knowing our off days makes the work week worth it a little bit more because we know we have a mental break coming up soon. And we know it's not always going to feel like this and that our minds will get rested very soon. So it really does help prevent burnout.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm so interested to see if you actually take a solo trip. I'm so intrigued to know how that goes, because I've been interested in doing them in the past, but I've never actually taken action on it. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I'd be intrigued
It's
to know more.
uncomfortable, right? I'm such a
Yeah,
people
very.
person. Like I love my family. I love going places. To go somewhere by myself, I'm like, do I sit there and have dinner? Like it feels kind of awkward, but also I'm like, it also kind of sounds right now really, really like I would love it only because there's so much chaos in my life to have
Yeah.
like silence, like sleep in a bed by myself. I'm gonna start small. I was thinking about going to like a spa retreat, like
Ooh.
resort where like you are kind of forced to be alone anyway, so it doesn't feel too weird. But literally, like Michaela, ordering room service and watching like a movie in a hotel bed sounds absolutely fucking amazing.
That does
Like
sound
at this
amazing.
moment in
And
my life.
it's like sometimes Casey, some boyfriend Casey, he goes on these hunting trips. That's his thing. I let him do it. And it's more so of like when he goes and does that, it's like, okay, I'm gonna order takeout to the house. I'm gonna DoorDash some sushi. I'm gonna put on a movie or a TV show that I have wanted to binge, but I haven't had time to. And I'm going to do whatever I want for the next 24 hours until he gets home. And it is so nice because as much as like I hate him being gone, like I obviously like I want to be able to spend time with him, but I do utilize those times to
Mhm.
have some me time and do the things that I have wanted to do without any distractions or a second person or whatnot, because it is so important, especially when you are
Yeah.
so ingrained in your business and that's all you think about 24/7, just letting your mind kind of ramble and spin and go to places that maybe you don't allow yourself to go to because you're trying to stay so disciplined and so structured, and just kind of letting the creativity fly. I don't know. For me, that's very freeing and actually helps with creative ruts too. I feel like we
Yeah.
might be bridging into another one with boosting creativity. Like it allows your mind to relax and generate new ideas. Like really just spending that time alone. Maybe it's you getting inspo by going to the botanical gardens, or maybe it's going on a nature walk by yourself, or hiking or biking if that's your thing. I don't know. Maybe it's you taking a solo trip, but just getting out and having that time allows your brain to focus on other things besides work, and that can greatly increase your creativity as a, for me, business owner, brand designer, web designer.
It makes me, what's something funny too, especially when I go on vacation, like, right before vacation, you're really, really excited and you're like, I can't wait to go. I'm so exhausted. I've been working so much. And when I'm on vacation, during like the middle end of it, I actually start to crave my work environment again. And I actually start to miss it and I start to appreciate it more. I'm like, well, the reason I'm on this vacation is because I have this job where I do this and I work really hard. And you almost like it makes you appreciate what you do when you take like those vacations and the off days and to let your like mind miss work can be actually in a way healthy because it gets you excited to go back. And like Michaela said, it can get you more thinking and being more creative and more excited to get back to it and get to that routine that we get so caught up to in a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. And it's nice to get back to even like the mundane moments of your morning routine, of your nightly routine, and having those things that you've learned to be so disciplined in over a period of time, like breaking free from that and kind of just, like I said, letting your mind ramble and doing things that you want to do for a short period of time and then getting back into the swing of things. It can almost kind of jumpstart your creativity. It can jumpstart maybe thinking through a new process that you want to implement. Strategic planning really relates to anything in your business, but it is so imperative on the front of boosting creativity, improving your decision making, and then enhancing just your overall productivity as a business owner.
So another positive about taking off days is that it creates a really healthy work-life balance, which we've said this 1,000 times, it can exist. Like you can have a great work-life balance and you should have a great work-life balance. There's going to be times when you have to grind more. There's going to be times when you have more off time and it's slower, but having a really healthy work-life balance is a huge positive as a business owner.
Yeah, and that comes with taking days off. I mean, it's kind of funny. We say that you can do it, but at the same time, I really don't like the saying of work-life balance. I don't believe in it, but it is doable because honestly, when you're a business owner,
let's clarify on the work-life balance then. When we say that, yeah, you're right. We don't mean like exactly 50-50. Your work-life balance is always very healthy. I know what you're saying now. Sometimes a work-life balance is that you have to work more because it's grind time. And sometimes a work-life balance means you need to make sure you schedule an extra off day, focus a little bit more on that life and that family side because you have more family stuff going on. So like the scale is like this. If you're watching this podcast on video,
fluctuate too. It's never going to be 50-50. And that's like work-life balance can be achieved, but understand it's like an ever-evolving thing. And so making sure that you schedule those off days, schedule some sort of vacation for yourself. Maybe it's one big trip a year, or maybe you like to do smaller trips quarterly. I know Sahara and I, we do both. And so making sure that those are on your calendar to look forward to, that helps create that work-life balance. Taking intentional time, saying, I'm starting my work day, maybe it's at 9, and then you're finishing and closing your computer by 6 o'clock, you're logging off, and you're taking intentional time with your family every single night. That's a way to create work-life balance.
Yeah, the work-life balance, I feel like works different for so many people based on what area of life they're in. Like there's no direct 50-50, but there is a work-life balance. It just may lean more towards on work one day and more on life the other day. So it's, like right now, my work-life balance, my life balance sucks, right? Like I'm not taking time for myself. I'm not working out. I'm not doing the things I normally like to do because I'm in such a grind mode with work and everything going on in my life right now. But I know it's not a forever thing. Like I've got some vacations coming up and I've got some adjustments. Once I get these projects done, I'll have a little bit of my time back in my life. So, but I know I need to grind right now to get those things done. So that scale is going to lean more towards work. But I know that I'm still taking my off days and doing things to make sure I'm not getting burnt out. So it's like a ever revolving thing that everybody's always working on.
And maybe it's you being intentional and sitting down every single night with your family for dinner. That's a great option to be, present and on a daily basis and creating that work-life balance. But it
Mm-hmm.
greatly impacts the people around you too. When you are
Yes.
constantly in work mode and you're go, 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 and you do not take a second for yourself to slow down, to be present and what's around you, it's going to impact the people that you surround yourself with. And so taking those off days, having a moment to recharge and refuel, like I said, I go up and
Mm-hmm.
see my parents. I spend intentional time with them. That was something that I learned pretty early on in starting Refine that I needed to do because one, I'm a short weekend drive away from them. I can go up for a short weekend trip and it doesn't really do any harm on my schedule. I can schedule around it, leave in the evenings, get there, for a late dinner, and then have the weekend with them. And I am recharged, refreshed. I get to see two people that I love and adore. Then I come home and I have that time with Casey. And so, like, making sure that what you're setting aside time for is what you want to pour into.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, especially because like I think sometimes we say like time off and so people will like schedule things on their days off that may not give them that positive energy they need. They may spend time with others who, may be a little bit draining as well in the nicest way, right? Like when you take off, you need to choose to do things that actually make you feel good and recharge you so that your time off mattered. I mean, because I know you probably had this before, but have you ever had like that off day where you wake up and you feel like you need another off day because you almost feel like even more burnout or you almost feel even more negative? And having a off day where you do things that you enjoy and that fuel you and recharge you and create positive energy for you is very, very, very important. Because I think sometimes we think taking off, you just need to take off and do something. So find out what you enjoy doing and where you're at in life and what's going to recharge you, because that is the point of these off days, is to be able to live your life too, but also to recharge and refuel yourself and make sure that you don't reach burnout and that you feel ready to go for work. So it's very important to make sure your off days are filled with things that you truly want to do.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes, like Sarah was saying, don't fill your days just with stuff and with people. Sometimes I like to plan almost like a distraction throughout my day to
Mm-hmm.
where I'm not so focused on work. But when I say distraction, it's not like some elaborate time stamped hour by hour thing. It's like,
Yeah.
Casey and I enjoy going and golfing together, playing 9 or 18 holes. And so that's something that we like to do together. That's what we do when I'm quote unquote off. And so we'll go play a round of golf or we'll schedule a date night and go have a nice dinner together. I know a lot of people, I know one of my friends, she really enjoys like just going to the movies and just like being like a really nice movie theater with the reclining seats and like the waiters that come up to you. She likes going and doing that. And so that's kind of her way to relax, recharge, and see what's out there in the theaters.
I used to be that person. And I don't know if you were like this too, Michaela. Do you feel like when you were used to take off days, you were that person who was like, okay, if I'm off, I'm going to go out. I'm going to explore this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go here. I'm going to hang out with this person who I haven't seen. Like, would you put that pressure on yourself?
Yes, I would almost create like a to-do list for my
Yeah,
off day, and
for
it
your off
completely,
day.
yeah, it
Yeah.
like completely depleted the purpose of the off day
Yes.
entirely. And I'd be
Yes,
thinking
it's like
more
we're
about
gonna
and
wake
trying
up at
to,
9 a.m. and then we're gonna go here and meet this friend for coffee here, and then we're gonna go shopping and run this errand, and then we're gonna go here. And it's like by the end of it, did you actually even enjoy it or relax?
no, I mean, half the time, no, I feel like it. And during that time, though, I was just kind of running on the hamster wheel with Refine and trying to make it
Yeah.
work, trying to make it work, trying to make it work, and doing everything in my power to. And I didn't know how important it was for me to take that time until it got to a point where we just didn't put out like any content for 2
Yeah.
weeks. I kind of I completely disappeared off the face of the planet in terms of social media with Refine, and just solely focused on client work. And then once 5 o'clock hit, I was like done. I hit the burnout phase. And that was when I Casey pretty much sat me down and was like, all right, we have got to change something. You cannot keep doing this. Let's reinvent, or let's not reinvent the wheel here, but let's just really audit your schedule and figure out how to make this work and make it sustainable.
Yeah. And that you found what works for you and what relaxes you and stuff. And that's a big thing. But for all of you control freaks type A personalities, like who we all like to do lists and we're very structured people, I find that having unstructured off days is the best for our brain and for a recharge. So it's very, very, very important. The last thing on my list was, I actually have never done this, but I feel like I want to do it this year. So I would love to actually do a staycation this year where I don't work, and I enjoy my home and I get projects done I never have time to, or maybe I even enjoy my community a little bit more. And, but I get to stay home, live here and be here.
I love that. I absolutely love that. That's something that we're trying to be better at too, is like we bought an older home, and so there's lots of little house projects that we want to do. As simple as like hanging hooks up in the bathroom for towels and like just little things like that, but they just pile up. It's like the to-do list, the never-ending house to-do list. But yeah, definitely. I love that idea. I think I might honestly steal that from you. But one of the biggest tips that we can probably provide you guys is to schedule your off days in advance. If you know you want to take a long weekend, maybe a Friday or a Monday off, go ahead and put that on your calendar. Get it up. Let your clients know that you are going to be off this day in advance. You know, get on social media. If you have a heavy social media following, let them know that if somebody is reaching out to inquire about working with you, go ahead and put up, hey, I'm going to be off Monday. I'll respond to all inquiries or business emails on X day. And just let them know, because that will help alleviate your mind from wanting to check in on things. I've found that that's been super helpful for us with Refine specifically. And then the other thing is like schedule yourself a longer vacation, even if it's once a year, if it's quarterly. Reward yourself in some capacity and take that time to just be intentional. Be intentional with your family, with your friends, whatever you choose to do. Maybe it's just with yourself and you need time alone. Do those things, but go ahead and put it on your calendar now, so that, like Sahara was saying, you have something to look forward to when that time comes.
Like, you know, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
So if you liked this episode and you found this really helpful, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Please leave us a review, subscribe to us on YouTube, or you can DM us on Instagram at Rise and Refine Podcast or at Refine Marketing _. We hope that you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week, and happy Monday.
See you next Monday.